Should you build a smoker or buy one? After we ran the numbers on what it took us to build the 325-gallon offset and the trailer, we were kind of shocked. So today we're going to go over what it took to build it and the trailer. All right, so let's start by going over some dimensions of how big our trailer is that we set the smoker on. So this trailer is 17 foot long, it is 8 foot wide, including the fender. So that's the outside of the fender. Usable space is 7 foot on the inside to inside frame rail. And as far as usable space on it, it is 17 foot worth of usable space. The cost of the propane tank, we got these for about $1 a gallon. And that's about the average cost on those. So about 400 bucks for both of these tanks is what we paid for the tanks. As far as how we went about the trailer, we really went the long way around on the trailer, and I really kicked myself for doing this. So we bought a boat trailer first for 500 bucks, and it was in pretty rough shape. It really had some terrible rust and stuff in it, but we got back to the house and poked around on it, and if you watch any other videos, you know what happened. It was trash, garbage, couldn't use it, but we did get the 2 axles out of that trailer is what we used under this, and we got that for a deal because these axles are about 500 bucks a piece. They're 3,500 pound axles, which makes this thing good for probably about 6,000 pounds. We'll never put that much weight on it. So it turned out that it was a blessing as far as money wise, but as far as labor goes, not a really good idea. I would suggest just building a trailer from scratch if you have the ability to, because you'll make a much better product at the end. We've got a really solid, this is 5-inch C-channel that we built this out of, and that thing is a beast. I don't have any problems with it. We set the smoker on there and I was surprised at how rigid it still was because it didn't flex or move or anything. But those are the 2 main components. Let's see here, we've got a notebook here. I really want to do a notebook. I wanted to try to do all this from memory, but it's never going to happen. So the trailer itself, just the steel in the trailer was 596 bucks, which isn't too bad compared to what was going on with it. All right, running down some other prices. So the 1-ton chain fall that we used that hung from the tree that we used to lift everything up with, $68.89, which is tools. We did include tools in this. So all the tools, everything I bought is what the final price came down to on this. So gas bottle, that was really expensive. So to buy a brand new gas bottle for a MIG welder is not cheap. Came in at $586.14, which even shocked me, and I was in the industry, but I never had to pay for the bottle. So, and that was only that's a small bottle. That's the one you've seen in the videos on the welder. So that's not a full-size bottle. So just keep that in mind. Welding cart, $109. The welder itself was 846 bucks. That was a big expense. So, trailer, more trailer material. So the expanded metal, all of the internal bracketry, bolts, everything like that came to $465.68. So not super cheap, but not super bad either. More tools were $37.90, which was grinding disc, flap wheels, different things like that. What else have we had? Wheels and tires. That was about 450 bucks for all 4 wheels and tires, because I did get a spare. So, and we had 2 good ones from when we bought these axles, which was nice. If you are buying a boat trailer, you will get some wheels and tires with it, maybe. It came with 2 good ones, and then we found out one of them was bent, so we only got 1 good one out of that. Still not upset about it. Trailer jack, $25. Trailer fenders, very expensive, $435.98. I was really caught off guard by that, but they had them, they were local. I probably could have got them off Amazon a lot cheaper, but I didn't want to wait and I needed to get this project done. So that's why we went with those, and they did not come the way these looked. We actually used sea salt, and it was another type of ingredient, peroxide, to rust these. And then we put a clear coat over them, and that's how we got what we wanted on these fenders. I wanted an old rust look. I just thought it was cool. What else have we got? So the exterior metal that goes around the smoker and all of that was $288.49. The headpiece up here and the stack itself that came to $338.90, which, once again, is not absolutely terrible. But we had a bunch of miscellaneous costs in here that were, we didn't really know where they were just odds and ends. They were grinding disc here, welding gloves. I had to buy new lenses for the welding helmet, all the paint. Miscellaneous stuff came to $1,104.65. So that was kind of a much bigger price tag than I was expecting of just a little piddly stuff. And I'm sure we're probably missing some receipts on this. But I had started the business when we actually about a third of the way through the smoker. So I had to start keeping my receipts then because we were actually operating as an LLC and I need all these for write-off stuff. So, I'm sure there's some stuff out there missing. So this number is, I feel like this number is pretty much in the ballpark because when I looked over all the receipts, and it took forever. It took me about 2 hours to go through all the receipts and weed out some stuff that wasn't on there and other stuff that was not actually directly contributed to building this. So, yeah. And I think that's pretty much everything kind of individually broke out. The miscellaneous stuff also covered the electrical wiring. So I ordered a kit off of Amazon. I did have that posted in some other videos. If you go back to the trailer build, I posted all of that stuff inside of there, so you can go look it up on Amazon if you do want to get that. But, overall, this was not, it wasn't a really horrible build, I think, for what we've got in it. So, total price of what it cost to build this is $6,196.66. That's what it took us to build the trailer, the smoker, every piece of everything that you see here behind me. The gauges, the whole 9 yards. Those gauges are $80 a piece, by the way, if you really wanted to know. You can get them off Amazon or wherever. Tell True is what they are. Standard barbecue gauges, everybody runs them. For that price point, I think it's a little high for me to have built it myself, but also at the same time, you can run out and kind of jump on the internet and do a quick search. If you're just looking to get started in barbecue, you could probably, there's 250 gallons out there on trailers for $5,000 or $6,000. And you don't have to go through the labor to do this. This trailer took me from getting the tanks, getting them set here, all the rigmarole, running around. And I mean, I spent a lot of time away from my family, which is also another big part you need to consider when doing this, is how happy is your wife or your husband going to be if you're out there building a smoker. So, something to think about. I had about 6 months in building this thing. And that, that's a long time to be working on something. And I worked on it pretty consistently. At least 2 weekdays and at least 2 weekends per month. So a lot of time went into building this. And that's a lot of time that was away from my family, that I didn't get to see my son. I didn't get to spend with my wife. She's irritated at me because I'm working on this thing. So take that into consideration. If you don't have those obligations, then absolutely build one. And as far as fabrication skills go, you don't have to have, massive amount of fabrication skills. I do have a fabrication background. I worked in a hot rod shop when I was going through college. I worked as a pipe welder. So I've got some fabrication experience and I've got some welding experience. But that doesn't mean that you can't do this. You can put this stuff together as good as anybody else can. It just may take you a little longer. So don't let that dampen your spirits if you are wanting to build a smoker and you're like, hey, I don't think I can do this. You can learn how to weld with a MIG welder. It's not that hard. You can probably run down to your local community college and they'll probably give you some lessons really quick for free. Set the welder and they'll pretty much set themselves now. So you could build one of these. Don't let that stop you if you really are. If you're like, man, this is my passion, I got to do this thing, go build the smoker. It's not that difficult. It's just time consuming, but if you got a fire in your belly about it, then I would absolutely say go do it. Just be safe. A lot of the things we did on this would not recommend. Don't hang stuff from trees. It's probably not a great idea. I got away with it because growing up as a kid, that's what we did. So I can look at a tree branch and kind of tell you, I know the ways to test it out. So don't do what I did. Not a good idea. But that being said, for the size of this smoker and trailer, I don't think you'll ever be able to get it at this price of what we built it for. We built this to have a direct fire cooker go on the other side of it. Plus we've got a large box up front for wood, gear, a lot of different things. So 17-foot long trailer, a tandem axle. If you look at just that trailer, you're probably going to be in the, $4,000 to $7,000 range just for the trailer, depending on where you're buying it from. So, something to think about. The smoker itself, like I said, you can get a lot of this stuff offline. If you're looking to want to find your hinges, handles, your cap head up there that goes in there where your stack mounts into, Mystic Smokers, I think is where we got this from. And he makes some absolutely incredible projects. And he also makes some incredible products. He's got a YouTube channel. You can go check him out. I think it's Mystic Smokers on YouTube as well. Sorry about the sun and all the shadows. This is the time we had to do this. So, but yeah, I think this is a really good value for what it is. But if you're just looking to come out of the gate and start making some barbecue and you want to cook for 100 people and that's how you want to start your business, I think you're better off purchasing something smaller if you've got the capital. And then it will let you know if you really want to continue moving forward with this, because this is a very, very labor intensive business. But I can tell you that it is very profitable if you're running it correctly and you're pretty decent with numbers. This thing is almost already paid for itself, and we've only done 4 events. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what it's capable of doing. We can feed 300 people off of this smoker if we're doing pork, pulled pork. If we put the upper racks in it, we can probably do enough ribs to feed 150 people, depending on how many you give. So just a couple of kind of insights there to what this thing is capable of, what it cost. I've really wanted to put this video out there. I don't know if this will really be helpful to anybody or entertaining, but super excited to see what people think about the pricing on this, whether it's too high, too low. But that's what it cost us, and I just wanted to put it out there just to get some feedback on it. Or if someone's thinking about getting ready to build something and you're like, wow, this guy's telling me that he spent $6,100, almost $6,200 to build this in his driveway, but this is a pretty big smoker. This thing is substantial. So just keep that in mind. But if you're just kind of looking to jump out there and get going, maybe purchasing one's not a bad idea. I was kind of shocked at this price. I thought the $6,100, for what we got is a good value, but I thought we would have came in cheaper, and I probably could have if I did some things differently, but I wanted a couple of things on the smoker to be exactly the way I wanted them. I wanted the large footprint. I redesigned the A-frame in the front of it so we can really get in some tight places. I can spin the car past 90 degrees on this smoker because of the way I designed the A in the trailer. So something else to think about where we park at. Sometimes we're doing parking lot stuff and we've only got 3 spaces available, and that's all they'll let us have. So I can literally jackknife my vehicle in there and get the thing in there exactly where I wanted it. To have a custom trailer built, that's some serious pricing. So that's another thing to think about when you're looking at this. So that being said, thank you guys for checking this out. Thank you for subscribing. Really, really just grateful for everybody tuning into the channel and checking stuff out. I never thought that this thing would really do much. But I hope everything we're putting out there is helpful, and can't wait to see you on the next one. We've got a really good couple of videos coming up. We've got one that I think is really gonna make some people super happy. So we're thinking about doing the Super Bowl of spices. So we're gonna take all the spices and seasonings out there, and we're gonna put them all in a competition and run them bracket style against each other until we come down to the #1 spice. And that's we're gonna do one for pork and it'd be pork, fish, and chicken, and then we're going to do another one for beef, because we've just been like, hey, who really does have the best rub? And we eat a lot of barbecue. We go to a lot of restaurants. So looking forward to doing that video. But until next time, keep them burning. See you on the next one.